Welcome to all the late night people who are subscribed to the movie channels, Screen Fiends. I stayed up late, which means that I just came from the chick's house and did not spend the night at her house. I came home so that I could give you guys, what's up, Ronnie died. I came home instead of staying at her house. So she's upset about that. I thought it was time to leave. She didn't think so. So brought the movie back. We enjoyed the movie. Had a good time. Sorry. I was spending quality time, so I came back and had to get right back to work. You know, I gotta start hitting these videos out. You know me, I'm always working. Pop, 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 pop. Now, this is a live chat for those who watching it later on down the road and don't realize it's a live chat. John Doe is in the house. No, not the chick from Hooters. The girl from Hooters is a friend of mine. Now, let's move forward. All eyes on me. The Tupac saga, as predicted, it fell and dropped dramatically in its second week. It did $5.8 million in the world. Wow. That's how much people did not like the film and did not want to go back to see it again. I called it because I knew this was going to happen from watching the film. I said they're going to have a massive drop-off. Curiosity made people go see it in the beginning, hoping it was going to be good because people went in there wanting to like the film. So, as predicted also, I told people massive lawsuits were going to follow. This is the bad news that's coming. More people are talking about other actors who were portrayed in the film are going to be filing lawsuits individually against this film. This film already had lawsuits against it while it came out. It's still fighting lawsuits right now for the actual film. Afeni Shakur actually stopped suing the film because she was going back and forth paying lawyer fees. It was getting very expensive to keep fighting to keep this movie from coming out. The powers that be helped Morgan Creek get this film out. But there's a lot of people who was behind the scenes making this happen for this film to get the film out to the general public. Now, with that being said, there was a lot of situations that went left in this whole transition thing. Is the reason why Jada Pinkett came out publicly and talked about the film and the way she did was strategic as far as what they plan on doing going forward with a lawsuit. I don't know if Jada's going to be involved, but more than likely she is. But I think it's a slew of other people they're talking about suing the production company and the people in the movie because they didn't like the way they were portrayed and the way they went about getting permission for the actual agreement to use the audio or the story that happened. They did not really contact the people involved in the situation with everybody. And here's the thing. The rights to make the movie is passed on. DeMarcus Shipp saying he doesn't want to play Tupac ever again. And the other guy who played Tupac, he's playing Tupac in another like a A&E crime story with Biggie and Tupac. And they saying that story is a lot better than the movie we actually saw. The guy who played Tupac in the movie Straight Outta Compton. Now, here's the situation. There are going to be 3 other Tupac films to come out. Now, we don't know if they're going to hit the main screen, but we know they come in the video. We have about 3 to 4 people that's going to make Tupac films. There's a Tupac book coming out by some people that knew Tupac, I believe, in The Outlaws. Then there's a biopic that's coming out about Tupac that's going to focus. Yeah, they're going to focus more on Tupac's, the scenes we didn't see. Like, they're going to focus more on Tupac outside of that life. Him preparing for movie roles and things of that nature. And then the actual elements outside of what led to his death. Or his demise. You know, street conflicts. Things that we didn't get to see in this film. Well, the thing is, they should have definitely included. We've talked about this in the last live chat, but here they definitely should have included Tupac's wife. It's true, Tupac only married her because he was going to jail and he had to get married or have a spouse for visitation rights in this situation here to handle certain transactions. She needed to be his spouse. But it wasn't like this was a random woman. This was a woman he was dating. Like, he had a crib there. He lived with this woman. When he was shot, he stayed with her and he stayed at Jasmine Guy's house. They both had a dog. You don't date a woman and have a dog with her. Buy her a dog. The dog name was Player. The Player got hit by a car and they had to take the dog to the hospital. And Tupac wanted to put the dog to sleep and she fought him on it. And they ended up paying all the money to make sure that the dog lived. And he did it. He paid the money. And he was like, no, just put the dog to sleep. I'll get you another one. She was like, no, you ain't finna kill my dog. So, I mean, they had a special relationship. Well, I'm quite sure Jada is. That's probably why she had to shoot this film down. There's many things in developing that I'm hearing about going through. Some things I can talk about, some I can't. That's why I have to say actors are planning to do something. Now, everyone else, they are trying to link up with other people and be involved. Because we didn't see Tretch or Naughty by Nature represented anywhere in shape or form with this film. And that is very weird, figuring that Tupac hung out on the East Coast. He hung out with Tretch. Why in the world they weren't in the film? A lot of people don't understand that. And I'm not saying every element of Tupac's life needed to be on film. I'm just saying there were very, very key moments in his life that should have been on film. That were very crucial, starting with the wife. The Hughes brothers situation. He ended up having to go to jail over that. So that should have been in the film because that was significant. That was a derailment in his acting career. Whenever you fighting the director on set, that's a problem. And all he was doing was fighting for the character. He wanted more into his character. The reason why they leave his poetry out, because Tupac, mostly people didn't know about Tupac's poetry until he was deceased. You know, like he did poems back in the day. Everybody normally did poems. Nas did poems. I wrote poems. In high school, everybody wrote poems. That was a part of your growth, and you're picking up your diction and everything else. And that's how you get your words and everything in line. That's how you flow. You let everything flow with the rhythm. The word don't have to rhyme. You can make something rhyme that sounds like it. You just play on words. And the cleverness of the poem, back then, I told you, there was no Instagram, no Facebook, so you had to express yourself with letters and words. Chicks were impressed by that. Poems was always for chicks. And used to impress chicks with poems. Give us some literature. So Pac's poetry was something personal with him. It wasn't like he was showing all the brothers his poems. He would show it to the girls, and they would see it. But what happened was, once he died, in his book, they got the book and everything else, and they came out with the Tupac book, and it had the poem in there for Jada. No one else would have really known about it. All his different poems he had. Because most of his homeboys had all his stuff in the house. That Tupac never really came and got. He just left stuff at people's crib. But when he died, they used everything they could to make some money. But Tupac told him that was going to happen. He said, one day I'm going to be famous. I might die. This stuff might be worth something. So you can keep it. Yes, they have lawsuits already. But some people are making different type of movies. They're talking about doing a spinoff. LT Hutton them is already trying to do another rapper movie. Do another story, biopic film on another rapper. They're saying that they might do a spinoff from this and do another part, like a Suge Knight type movie or something like that. They're doing a whole lot of talking, but Suge Knight supposedly is suing the film. Apparently he's going to do that once he has the opportunity, or he's trying to see if there's a way he can do it, or it's probably already in motion. But we're gonna find out. Another movie that's in production right now, and it's in post-production, is The Life and Death of John Gotti. And they're trying to get a couple of people involved in that in the hip-hop era, like Sean Puffy Combs, to try to work on the soundtrack for that film. And they know a lot of blacks are all into the Italian gang mobster stuff, so they're trying to incorporate it to the African Americans by having a hip hop and regular soundtrack to the actual film. John Travolta is supposed to be in this film. His daughter is going to be in the film. And there's a couple other actors that's going to be in that film. I have to check that trail out. I haven't seen that one. But I told you it's going to be a Tupac fest. Everybody's going to have a story. Everybody's going to have a book. Everybody's going to say, I saw him. I touched his hand. It's going to be a whole mess of just Tupacism. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. When it's all said and done, I want to see who's going to be left holding the brass ring. Because I don't know, right now this movie has grossed over $50 million, which means that it can go international. See, when you're a small independent film, you're not going to get back to go overseas and perform internationally unless you gross over $50 million. If you gross over $50 million, then they'll let you take a print. You probably get 2 places as playing overseas, especially for a black film, and get international dollars. See, international dollars right now is dominating the box office. When before, international dollars didn't used to dominate the box office. Now, that's become 70% of the movies. People here in America, we don't really go to like a movie. We depend on Rotten Tomatoes. If Rotten Tomatoes say that, oh, they didn't get a certain score, we won't go see it. Or if somebody on the internet say the movie is bad, then we ain't going to see it. That's just how it is. They'll wait to video. Where international, they can't wait for the movies to come there. Some places, they even premiered the film internationally before we even get it now. That never used to happen. We used to always get the movies first. Then it goes international. They get it later. And when I mean later, I mean months. Well, Tupac, Mobb Deep had a whole slew of diss tracks on Tupac. They've released them. Yeah, they just didn't make the album. But other than that, you know, they still do it their thing. Uh-oh, are you guys still there? What happened? Did they freeze everybody out again? I'm telling you, man, they have got to fix these bugs. After they finally give me all my channels back and give me my videos back, after the NBA playoffs are over. Yeah, but Demetrius Shipp doesn't want to play Tupac anymore, and he's correct. He should never play Tupac again because if it's going to completely ruin him. They played Eazy-E. They want to do another movie, a spinoff, and have him play Eazy-E again. He's like, no. And he's been in like every movie known to man. Ever since Straight Outta Compton, he's been working, and working. He was in the King Kong movie. He was in all these different movies. He has not stopped. He stayed busy. But Demetrius Shipp doesn't want to play Tupac Shakur no more. And I can't blame him. Could you blame him to play Tupac? That's a lot of work. And Tupac, he was one of the soldiers. I mean, in King Kong, Him and the guy that played Dr. Dre were both in King Kong. Right, but they want to try to do a film, but they can't get the backing. Daz wants to make a Dog Pound film, and based off the situation with Eazy-E, and so they wanted the same actor to play Eazy-E, and he's like, I'm not really interested in playing Eazy-E again. I didn't think it was hilarious. I thought it was ridiculous, and it backed up everything I ever said about LeVar Ball. That's like, he's just there for opportunity. He wants to be a star. He missed his boat. That's it. And how is this helping his son? Your son just got drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers. You supposed to be falling back and letting it be his moment. It's not his moment. Well, it's supposed to be his moment, but you're still in it. I don't know. Now, the actor that played Suge Knight, he's more than willing to play Suge Knight again if somebody hire him and pay him a check. So, I don't know if they're going to use him or the guy who's played in 2 movies, the Miss Chalet film and the Straight Outta Compton Suge Knight. But which Suge Knight you thought was better? The Straight Outta Compton Suge Knight or the Suge Knight and All Eyez on Me? Acting, the performance. I think both sides, Straight Outta Compton, Suge Knight, they did it to the best of their abilities, but I just don't think that because they got to make a movie out of it, and that's what Straight Outta Compton did. They made a movie out of it. There wasn't a bunch of scenes cut. They let it flow as one movie. It wasn't accurate 100% as far as the timelines, but they made a movie that flowed, which means that you enjoyed it. And it was like you was rocking at a concert and you was down with everything that was happening. So it brought back a lot of old memories. And for people who were younger, they got introduced into what NWA was, Eazy-E. So for them, they were just fascinated. And that's how you make $100 million off of a film. You have to make the film enjoyable so that people would want to come back and watch it again. And All Eyez on Me failed to make it enjoyable to where you can go back and watch it again. I have not wanted to watch that film again, and that's sad. A movie about Tupac, and you don't want to watch it again, and you're a fan of Tupac. That's bad. As a movie producer, director, you have failed. Because that is not the goal that people want to see. Batman versus Superman. A lot of people said, this movie's going to be great. They didn't like Ben Affleck playing Batman. And I told people, I said, Ben Affleck won't be the problem. You know what the problem was in the film? DC has a bad habit. And what their bad habit is, they don't know how to sell to children. They fear if they make it a little too light, the hardcore fans will be disappointed. And see, this is the disconnect with DC, and they don't get how Marvel is selling way more than them. Like, how is this happening? Marvel will make it a little silly and cartoony because they know they have to sell to children. So they gotta have merchandise that they can sell to children. They have to make it a little easy on the eyes so that they can sell it to children. Batman versus Superman was dark. Everything about Superman is not supposed to be dark. They made this more like a Batman movie with Superman being a part of it. And then Superman was dark. So there was nothing really for children in this film. So what parent would take their kid to go see Batman versus Superman? Wasn't gonna be a lot. But they would all love to go see the Avengers. Why? Because you can go buy the little costumes. You can go in there and see the Hulk. They all have different personalities. I mean, I swear, if you watch Batman versus Superman, it seemed like every scene was shot at night. Every scene. So you couldn't really connect to a lot of different things on the film. People forget what makes a good film. No matter what year, you can go back 50, 40 years. What makes a good film, producers and directors forget. It's character. If you don't have interesting characters, your movie is going to suck. I'll give you a prime example. I'll give you a prime example of what I'm talking about. Jaws. The very first Jaws. Jaws was successful for what reason? Jaws was successful because not of the shark. You barely saw the shark in part one. You didn't see the shark until the end. Because one, they didn't have a budget. It became great because of the characters. The three guys on the boat. That old crazy fisherman. The way he felt like it was a personal vendetta with him and the shark. Those characters, those three characters, you cared about them, you related to them. It made the movie go. Now you go through the other Jaws, they put all the focus on the shark. That's why the movies became boring. And it just became, okay, shark biting people. And that's why they fizzled out. Because they lack personality of the character. And people forget that. They think, well, people just want to see the shark bite people. And this person get bit, or that person. So we need to just raise the murder count. And then that'll get people into the seats. It's always been about story or character. If you can't gravitate to the character, your movie's going to suck. I've seen bad movies that turned out pretty good because the characters were so great. There was an argument for a long period of time about the rape scene in Shawshank Redemption. Did he get raped? Did he not get raped? Did he get raped? Did he not get raped? And speaking on that note, the rape scene by John Singleton, who claims that Afeni Shakur gave him the approval on the script that he wrote. And that was the early draft he put out, but he had everything he wrote was approved by Afeni Shakur. Even a scene that he has with Afeni sleeping with another man and another woman. That was approved by her. Sometimes you just can't trust John. That's in the John Singleton script. And he still wants to make this film and call it Tupac Amaru Shakur. That's the title he has for the movie. Well, the scene was there when Tupac was in jail. One of the guards locked Tupac in the library and turned his back as the other inmates attacked him. And he's insinuating in that script that Tupac got raped. Yeah, Pac says, you know, that stuff never happened. I understood everything Pac was saying. And that the guards was lying. And how they was, you know, doing all these different things, which is true. You know, all the stuff that Pac was saying in there, he didn't, to me, you know, he'll take it to his grave. And to me, whatever happened there is Pac's business. I can care less about that situation, but I don't think it's as significant as other things that he's done. I like to focus more on what he's actually done for people. I mean, they were doing a whole bunch of stuff at that time. They were having a whole bunch of people appear, show up saying that Tupac did this, Tupac did that. They beat Tupac up in jail. He got caught for smoking weed. They were doing all kind of stuff. What's up, Jesse Taylor? It's good morning to you. For me, it's getting ready to be good night. What I do is I sleep for about maybe 5 hours. I get up and I make more videos. Or I put out the videos I already got made. I always have like 3-4 videos I've made all through the day. So when you see me, when I make a video, I don't just make one video. I make like 3, 4 videos at one time. I just don't submit them all at the same time. I'm beyond sleepy. I'm tired. I just spent quality time with this lady and came home and can't go to sleep. We watched the movie Logan and I'm tired. I fell asleep during the movie, through half the movie. So she was like, aren't you gonna spend the night? I'm like, no. I gotta go home. She wanted me to spend the night over there. I can't spend the night over there. Oh, you debating people with what I say on the live chat about movies? To tell you the truth, I really didn't pay attention to the music, but I'll pop it back in and pay attention to it now that you mentioned it about when they buried Wolverine. I walked out on Transformers. Man, at least you were smart enough to do that, man. You be in there like begging for it. It's like the movie that won't end. French Montana and Uganda? What is going on?
Like flipper.
All right, guys. Yeah, 47 meters was, if the thing is, if you had your headphones on and you watch 47 meters, you'll be all right. I did, but you noticed I'd seen 47 meters like 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago. Because the reason why is because 47 meters was going to come out on video. And then they decided to take a shot and putting it on, putting it out in the movie theaters because they was like, look, I think we can make some, we got a space where we can make some money. And it was a good investment. It made pretty good money for it to be so cheap. It wasn't out before, but it was prepared to go out on video. It was already formatted for video. It wasn't supposed to come out to the movie theaters. It had a whole different name and everything. It's like In the Deep or something like that. And it was finna come out on video. And then they just decided to change all that, scrap that plan, change the name, and throw it out. And 47 meters is a lot better than In the Deep or whatever. So, so put it out at the movie theaters and let's see what happens. Well, that's what's up. I'm glad you got the notification. Yeah, the dialogue is terrible. The motivation to get them in the water was terrible. She wants to get revenge and show her boyfriend and take some pictures to show that the guy that broke up with her because she's boring, she wants to show him that she's not boring. Oh, I can't wait for that Detroit movie either. Kidnap? I don't even know what that is, Steven. Big Will, you mentioned that album before. You'll see, it's terrible. Yep, they trying to get rid of Rubio. Timberwolves ain't playing around. I'm telling you, Minnesota Timberwolves, they want to win. They ain't playing. They like, look, we got a good unit here with Rubio now, but they ready to get rid of him. I mean, there's a new Flatliners. I heard about them. I thought they were coming out with a series. They redid the whole movie. Oh, great. Took a classic movie and screwed it up and remade it. Will Golden State win next year? I'll let you know after the free agency is over. Because everybody's trying to make moves, buddy. It's a lot of moves in place. Oh, man. Vegan Steven? Once you get into House of Cards, there's no escape. There is no escape. I was involved in House of Cards after the very first episode. Those are my kind of shows. Very smartly written, and it's very powerful. And it shows you exactly how power weighs over money. Money means nothing and has no value over power. That's too much binge watching. Because there's so much information going on, you don't want to miss it. Yep. But I'm going to go ahead and call it one. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you for subscribing to the movie channel on Screen Fiends, and we're going to talk movies and stuff over here. But I think I need to take my nap now. I'm out.